Well, today we're at the Petersen Automotive Museum here in Los Angeles at Fairfax and Wilshire. And it's probably one of the most outstanding automotive museums in the country. And we're very, very lucky, very blessed that we have a relationship with them that permits us to have this show here.
It's a perfect location, I think.
It's great parking, it's a great location, and it's great for our auto modelers, but our aircraft, armor, ships, all of our modelers really enjoy this location.
And there are a lot of people with this interest in Los Angeles, I imagine.
There's a tremendous number because of the people in the special effects industry in Hollywood. So we get a lot of special effects people here at the show. It works out very well. Today we've got modelers from all over the western United States, and we even have somebody in from Netherlands and from Japan. And we've got models that are ship models, automobile models, figure models, all kinds of models of science fiction models, everything, armor models, a whole variety of miniatures that people enjoy building and enjoy painting, and of different things that they enjoy in life that you can't really take home a Starship Enterprise, but you can build a model of a Starship Enterprise. And you can't take home a tank, but you can build a model of it. And that's pretty much, I think, what a lot of us like to do. We see something in real life, especially cars or whatever, and we can build miniatures of them and have a good time doing it and painting them.
How did you get interested in model everything?
I was building when I was a kid, and then stopped for a while, like all kids do. And then in 1978, I started up again when I was going to art school in New York. And then when I left art school, I really got into it at a hobby shop that sadly no longer exists called Ace Hobbies. I think they were on 38th Street in New York on the west side. And the guy was phenomenal, had an unbelievable hobby shop. And I went in there and just got hooked and started building and just had a great time.
Do you find that as the years go on, more and more people are interested?
We're finding more and more people interested, getting their kids interested, and it seems to be it's a nice hobby.
With spaceship models sharing the spotlight with historic models, the contest makes for some interesting competition. And since cars encompass so many of the entries, it was only natural for the Petersen Automotive Museum to open its doors to such an appropriate venture.
I got inspired seeing my father-in-law build the models in his garage, and I just was amazed by the dedication, the commitment that they put in, all the details that go into building a model. So as soon as I saw it and as soon as I started working here, I said there might be an opportunity. And sure enough, all I did was ask, and everybody thought it was a great idea. So it's been a hit.
Any chance that you might get into this yourself?
I actually started a model, but it's been taking me way too long to build because it's very intimidating when you want to compete. They look at every little tiny detail. They're very, very perfectionist about what you put on these tables. So you can't have a fingerprint, you can't have a scratch, everything has to be very spotless for you to get an award. So because of that, I'm kind of taking my time.
Well, I did see one person we interviewed dusting off their models.
Yep, they dust them off. Sometimes some things even fall apart, so they have to re-glue them as soon as they put them on the table. Anything can happen.
All the models are historical models. They're the science fiction category, perhaps not. But, I mean, it's historical from a Hollywood standpoint. But the models themselves, the armor, the aircraft, the ships, and even the figures have all played an important part in the history of the United States and the history of the world. Regrettably during wars in some cases, but for the most part, these are historical models. You can see what was going on back in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, 60s by looking at these models. In fact, we have figures dating back into the 1800s. And today is a contest here at the museum, and we will be giving awards out for all the different models, first, second, third place awards, and different best aircraft and best show. And it should be said that the best automobile picked out today will be given the opportunity to be displayed here at the Petersen Automotive Museum for 1 year. from the date of this show until the date of the show next year.
The model show's competition contains 9 categories, and each one is subdivided into separate divisions, including dioramas and armored vehicles like tanks and rockets. There is a very popular science fiction category that includes separate divisions for both spaceships and creatures, and all entries are judged with the strictest of criteria.
So the number one key for building a model and for getting it placed is construction. You want to make sure that if it's a car, the wheels are secure, that they would turn, that the rubber is on there correctly, that the windshield is on there correctly. So everything, depending on the type of model that it is, has to be very accurate to the actual vehicle or the actual thing that it represents. Some of the other key elements could be paint. If it's painted really well, there are a lot of techniques. If it's an old model, say you're putting in a rusty model, you really want to make sure that the paint job complements what you're trying to represent. But construction is definitely number one.
You said you were starting a model. What is it going to be?
So I am trying to do something that is in the museum's collection. So I am doing the 1966 Batcycle from the TV show with a Batman and Robin figure, and that's why it's probably taking me so long.
The contest entries on display represent some of the very best work that is being done by a talented group of modelers.
Well, it's a model of the Cygnus from the Walt Disney movie, The Black Hole. And I'm not really a big fan of the movie, and I'm not actually even that big of a fan of the spaceship, but it's an incredible model. I found out this guy was making it, he was just putting the parts for it, they're 3D printed. All the parts on it, they're made of a flexible material. So they actually bend a little, and you can just almost squeeze all the parts over the armature.
How long did it take you to get it all together?
Well, the whole process took a number of years because I collected the parts over the period of about a year and a half. I probably didn't have the parts for the armature for another year, and then I spent a few months figuring out how to get the armature to work with the exterior parts. The whole thing probably took 4 years.
Wow.
Not like I was working on it all the time, but it was helpful because it gave me a lot of time to think about how it was going to go together and how I was going to light it.
Armando, I see a lot of cars in a row here. Are those yours?
Yes, absolutely.
Did you collect them, or?
I actually make them for pleasure. It's one of my collection. Being a car modeler, I've been doing this for 30 years. And this is one of my collection for 30 years.
You created each and every one of these guys?
Yes, yes I did.
Are they of, are there different categories of cars, or?
They're replicas of real cars. There's a car club called Lifestyle Car Club. It's a prestige car club in Los Angeles. And these are kind of like a replica of the original cars. So my collection is getting bigger and bigger every time. So this is just 30 models that I got done so far.
Obviously you had to paint them yourself, right?
Oh yes, absolutely. I use House of Colors, and everything is made by airbrush.
And you've been doing this for 30 years?
30 years and plus.
This is a great place to see not only the miniature, but then turn around and see the real McCoy in terms of the cars and everything. So it's a lot of fun to be here, and a lot of fun to be with like-minded people over here. Everybody's got the same hobby. It doesn't matter what they do. They enjoy building and painting miniatures.
Although the display is heavy on the spaceships and cars favored by a male crowd, some participants are trying to make the hobby more attractive to women.
That is my Hot Rod Barbie collection that's painted by automotive artists in one shot, which is pinstriping paint.
Pinstriping, is that kind of the type on cars? Is it, where the lines go back and forth?
Yes, it is. It's a collection I had over 11 years. I have 31 dolls. Each one is different, and I've brought a collection of 8 of them today.
They're all so different.
Yes, they each have the artist personality embedded in the doll.
Oh, you mean an artist in each individual one?
Yes, they're all hot rod artists, such as Scratch and Doug Dorr and Candy Wheel, various artists.
Is that not the name of the doll, but the doll has a different name, or don't you name them?
Well, actually, they're Barbies, and they all have different names. One is Monster Flower, one is Miss True Love, one is the Coffin Cutie. They're all different.
Coffin Cutie, love it. Oh, that's that one in the middle.
Yes, that's a doll that was painted by Hot Rod Saint, and she's actually sitting in a See's Candy Halloween tin.
This is very bizarre.
Actually, it's fun. It's lowbrow art.
Oh.
It's a way to get women involved in the model industry, and because we need more women involved in collecting or making models. So it's my attempt at getting women involved.
In addition to the model displays and competition, one of the other big attractions is the vendor's room, where kits could be purchased by both model enthusiasts and beginners. The show is just one way of keeping this artistic endeavor popular as more people embrace the fun and challenge of this exciting and rewarding hobby.
Our club, Pasadena Modeler Society, meets the fourth Friday night up in Pasadena at an American Legion Hall. And there's about 5 or 6 other clubs that are scattered throughout the LA area and the Orange County and San Diego area. And we all meet once a month. And generally, we all join up at these shows. So what's great for me, actually, is that this is an opportunity for me to see all of my friends in one place. It's like one big party for me because I get to see everybody at once a year. And that's something I really enjoy. A lot of kids come up with their parents. They get involved with the hobby. That's something that's going on. Even though it's an older crowd that you'll see, they do have young kids getting involved. So it's a fun group, a fun atmosphere. And what I like the most is that people are accomplishing something. It's a crowd of people that are accomplishing something. By the end of the day, they have built something of a historical nature. They've learned something about modeling. They've challenged their skills. And I think that's what's really enjoyable about the hobby.
For information on the model show and competition, or to find out how you can get involved in this challenging hobby, contact the Pasadena Modeler Society, located in Pasadena, California.